Hello to our boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today, courtesy of our friends across the pond at boxing247.com. I'll start us off with a little story close to home here in Toronto, where I'm from, courtesy of our friends over at Lee Baxter Promotions, who have a big fight coming up at Rebel Nightclub. Fantastic, by the way, fantastic location to have boxing events and many other events that go on there, but boxing in particular, fantastic venue. Let me just start off with a bit of news. So he was pretty excited, first of all, to announce that headlining his show would be Joshua Lupia returning. He's 8-0, 7 knockouts, and he was going to take on and will be taking on Leonardo Tyner. That's a welterweight bout. But then he added Ireland's Lee Reeves as a co-main event. I believe that was about a month ago he announced that. But the point is so we've been keeping track of this, and we'll be in attendance. We'll be live streaming, not necessarily the bouts, but certainly a lot of interviews and a lot of action will take place. So stay tuned this weekend on talkandfight.com. Lee Reeves, he's 9-1 with 6 knockouts. As I said, from Ireland, he's going to go head-to-head with Lerone White, who's 6-5-1 with 5 knockouts. And back in May, it was Reeves who won the NABF super lightweight title after dominating Sebastian Diaz-Maldonado, winning his first title as professional live on DAZN, by the way, if you guys remember that. Reeves was tabbed by none other than Tyson Fury as the next Irish boxing superstar. And he has all the qualities to live up to that statement. Reeves, an amateur standout in Ireland, has won 2 Irish national titles, 7 Munster championships, 7 Limerick championships during his time as an amateur. Since turning professional, the majority of Reeves' fights have been held in Canada. Reeves has been continuing to impress with his slick style that oozes confidence, and he looks to showcase this, as I said, this weekend over in the Rebel Nightclub just down the street from me. Fighting out of Mississauga, by the way, Lerone White will be in the opposite corner to Reeves. White is the more experienced professional, and he'll look to use this advantage against the younger Reeves. Lerone is no stranger to a tough challenge, though. He's a warrior, never backs down from a fight, and always takes on the avoided prospects. And will do again with Lee Reeves. Does he have what it takes to pull off the upset and derail Lee from getting into international rank fights? Well, we'll have to wait and see for sure, without a doubt. On this fight, something that we're all looking forward to here in Canada is our own local hero, Canadian super bantamweight champion Amanda Gali, 6-0-1, is back in action against Luzalina Martinez in an 8-round contest. You might remember Amanda, I think, broke her hand in the very first round, but continued to fight on to a draw in her last contest that took place at Rebel as well. Martinez is a former WBC international challenger, by the way. Moe Zwandi, 4-1-1, who is a 4-time Canadian national amateur champion, will look to close out the year in spectacular style against local rival Marco Parente. And current Canadian bantamweight champion Ross Milet will be getting the action underway on the night as he faces Eduardo Cruz Munoz. That's a scheduled 6-rounder. So if you need tickets, I'm pretty sure they're available at LeeBaxterPromotions.com. You can Google it. You'll find it. All right, that's for all my Toronto friends. I see that we have a story out of. Let's go to Cecilia Breakhouse first. I've got a pretty good story coming your way via Wembley. But before I go there, I want to bring you up to speed on Cecilia Breakhouse, one of my favorite female fighters. She's a longtime reigning undisputed welterweight world champion, nicknamed the First Lady. 36-2, by the way, 9 knockouts. She's fighting out of Bergen, Norway, and she'll return to battle on the same night as the night before Lee Baxter's big fight. She'll be fighting tomorrow night. That'll be Saturday night, December 17th, against the former world title challenger Marisa Joanna Lalena Lapiba Portilla. She's 19-15-3 with 4 knockouts, and she fights out of Santa Fe, Argentina. And they'll be fighting at the Commerce Casino in Los Angeles. So it's been a while since we've had a fight to report from out of LA, but here we go. This is courtesy of Golden Boy. Remember, Breakhouse versus Portillo is a special attraction junior middleweight contest as part of Golden Boy Fight Night LA edition and is broadcast live internationally on DAZN beginning at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Breakhouse has spent most of 2022 being guided in boxing camps under the watchful eye of one of our favorites and in our early days who joined us quite often on Talk and Fight, world-renowned trainer Jonathan Banks. And she's been back and forth between LA, Detroit, and Dubai. She said, "I'm very excited to return to the ring this Saturday night and especially fighting in Los Angeles for the third time. This is a new weight class for me after spending my whole career at welterweight, and I'm anxious to make my mark quickly towards world title fights." So very good news, and we look forward to seeing the result. Let's move along now to Wembley, where the news out of Wembley is all about their big KSI fight taking place in January. What I thought was interesting about this particular story that hit the headlines was something that Joe Markowski said. And Joe Markowski happens to be the CEO of DAZN here in North America. And when asked at the press conference about this particular fight, KSI and a whole whack of, as we know, social media stars, crossover boxers, people of that nature, he says, and keeping in mind, by the way, as I'm sure in your hometown as well, there was something that used to be called the Bay Street Brawl that took place here in Toronto that featured many white-collar executives who would strap on a pair of gloves and clobber each other in a ring and raise money for a local charity or foundation. But anyway, Joe Markowski had this to say: "I think the breadth of anyone who can fight and who can participate in our events is really anyone with a public profile. That's the beauty of it. We've been brainstorming about where this can go. Is it politicians? Is it rappers? Is it actors? Is it YouTubers? I think it can be everyone. We want people to know the door is open and we want to do this globally. For the sports industry, what we're trying to do with the X Series is extremely innovative and equally important. As the younger generation comes into watching sport, we want to engage with them. So the crossover sport with the new age celebrity is super important. We're incredibly proud to be foundational partners in all of this." So this is again regarding the big KSI fight taking place in January at the OVO, I believe, in London. Let's have a quick look and see if I can get my mouse to work and get you to some quotes from people like KSI. But before I do that, I wanted to just give you an update on the undercard, featuring names, to be blunt, I've never heard of, fight fans. But they say it's a thrilling fight night that includes a huge co-main bout between Slim and Tom Zanetti, as well as a stacked supporting cast consisting of Salt Puppy versus Josh Bruckner, Ryan Taylor versus Swarms, Joe Fournier versus Tony Christodoulou, Faith Ordway versus Elle Brooke, and Anthony Taylor versus Idris Virgo. Now, DAZN's going to show this globally, okay? And I just wanted to get into a few of who these people are, because, like maybe you, I didn't have a clue, don't have a clue who these guys are. Slim versus Tom Zanetti, for example. Suleiman Slim Al-Habar is becoming the heavy-hitting danger man of crossover boxing. From New York, the Hitman is gaining notoriety for stoppage wins after a destructive amateur career, followed by his TKO win against Forzy in 2019 and his knockout win over FaZe Temper at the O2 in London. Tom Zanetti is a global name within dance music, having scored top 10 hits, accumulating over 20 million streams and just under 4 million views on YouTube. By taking out a huge knockout artist like Slim, the dynamic DJ may have to put the music on hold as he stakes his claim as a champion within the crossover boxing world. And this, my boxing friends, is how it starts. But I'm not going to stop there. I'll continue. Salt Poppy versus Josh Bruckner. I asked myself, who the heck are these guys? Well, Salt Poppy was raised in England with a Filipino background and transitioned from seasoning star to boxing prospect as he created videos showing his weight loss transformation through his love of the sport. In March of 2022, he made his crossover boxing debut as he conquered Halal Ham over 3 rounds, resulting in a unanimous decision win. He then faced Andy Worski as he produced a highlight reel knockout in the opening of the first round to steal the limelight from the sold-out MF and DAZN X Series 001 at the sold-out O2 in London. Josh Bruckner, for his part, is both a social media star as well as an MMA fighter who has helped develop a big social following for creating fitness videos alongside his wife, Katie, on their channel, JD Vlogs. He started out in an amateur MMA with an undefeated record of 7-0 before moving to professional MMA. He made his crossover boxing debut on the undercard of KSI versus Logan Paul 2 when he beat Tyler Smith in a unanimous decision. Ryan Taylor versus Schwarms. You might ask yourself, who the heck is Ryan Taylor? Ryan Taylor is a world champion BMX rider, YouTube superstar, and serial entrepreneur. Taylor went toe-to-toe with one of crossover boxing's biggest hits in Slim and showed the world his toughness and determination when inside the ring. After featuring in the MF and DAZN Series 001 against KSI, Swarms is returning to the ring at Wembley, continuing his transition into crossover boxing, where either he or Taylor will have the chance to bounce back with a huge win at 004. Joe Fournier versus Tony Christodoulou. Joe Fournier, for your information, he holds the undefeated professional boxing record, 9 wins and 1 no contest. The successful entrepreneur is the former holder of the WBA International Light Heavyweight title, which saw him ranked as high as 11th with the governing body. Having returned to the professional ranks in 2021 after a 5-year hiatus and an 8-round exhibition loss to former world champion David Haye, he is back to take on the professional MMA fighter Tony Christodoulou. I don't follow MMA, so I have no idea who the heck that is. But anyway, Christodoulou's pedigree as a former UFC fighter with 20 professional fights on some of MMA's grandest stages and undefeated amateur record presents Fournier with one of his toughest challenges to date. Christodoulou has had a brief hiatus from the ring that consists of 13 wins, mirroring Fournier's break from fighting to make this a level playing field and an unbelievably exciting matchup. Faith Ordway versus Elle Brooke. Faith Ordway has made her name as a social media celebrity, most notably through TikTok. With over 4 million followers, the American has turned the sport of crossover boxing as her new challenge. Fellow social media star Elle Brooke follows up on her successful debut against AJ Bunker in this New Year cracker. And finally, on the undercard, we have Anthony Taylor versus Idris Virgo. Having stepped away from an MMA career where he was on a 5-fight win streak, Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor is ready to show his opponent and crossover boxing he's here to make further waves after a knockout win against Ashley Raksu at MF and DAZN X Series 002 held in Sheffield. Idris Virgo is an influencer and former contestant on Love Island who is looking to dust off his boxing skills as he aims to build on his previous 13 boxing bouts with a tremendously impressive record of 12-0-1. KSI, right, let's have a quick think here and see if he's got anything worthy to say about his opponent. He has this to say: he's petrified of me and it's disappointing. But when I do see him in the ring, because his opponent didn't show up for the press conference, but when I do see him in the ring, he'll understand all the frustration and anger I have for him for disrespecting me. I'm a guy that whenever I want something, I will get it no matter what. And this just makes me want to train even harder and do more on top of everything. I'm already doing extra sprints, extra bag work, extra sparring, and more of anything. I'm and everything to emphasize I'm willing for all things, whether it's Dylan Dennis or Tommy Fury or Jake Paul. I'm a different beast, and I'll show it with all these fights that I do. Well, boxing fans, that brings us to the conclusion of another exciting episode of Talk and Fight, featuring all your favorite social media stars over in the UK, and a few other great fights are going to take place in both Los Angeles and here in Toronto. Thank you for joining me. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll see you later on at 4 p.m. for Knuckle Up with Mike Orr and Cedric Ben, and then 7 p.m. with Tim Witherspoon for the Friday night panel. Thank you.